Natureman here with a true tale of winter survival. Now, a few days ago, I was up hunting on the ridge up behind the house, which I can do, by the way, at this time of year on account of the fact that I've got one of them special native Vermonter off-season wintertime hunting permits, don't you know? So, I'm up in the woods hunting, and the weather takes a turn, and the snow starts coming down, and the wind is blowing all around, and the temperature drops, and it's getting really cold. And I turn around to look at my tracks, and they're gone, full of snow from the wind and everything blowing around. And I'm thinking, well, I might be about lost about now. And I was getting a little concerned when the wind shifts direction, and there in the trees, I see this big, dark, hulking form. And I got one thought. What is the wife doing up here in the woods? No, my one thought though was, that's a bull moose. So I draw down on it, pop it in the neck, and drop it right in its tracks. And I go over and I cut it open, and I'm gutting it, and I'm pulling its innards out, and they're all steaming and hot, but I'm freezing cold. And then I remembered that scene from the Star Wars movie where that feller's riding that big shaggy beast Chewbacca thing, and he's freezing to death in a blizzard. So he gets down off it open and climbs inside of it, and he survives. Well, I'm thinking, well, that's a pretty good idea. So I finish gutting the moose, and I squeeze inside of that. Now, there weren't a lot of room, but there was enough for me. And other than it being a little damp and a little dark, once I got myself all sealed up inside, it weren't too uncomfortable. I was out of the wind and the cold. Next thing you know, I was sound asleep. And the next thing you know after that, I hear this chainsaw roaring not 6 inches from my head. And I wake up and I'm thinking, geez, cripes. Some feller's going to cut the head off this moose to hang on his den wall, and he'll cut my head off too. So I start yelling, hey, hey! And I hear the chainsaw shut off, and I hear some feller say, hello? Anybody out there? And I say, down here, help! Don't cut my head off! And my arms are trapped at my sides because there weren't a lot of space inside of that moose. So I'm all wriggling and rolling inside of that moose trying to get my arms free so I can climb out. And then I hear the feller screaming. And I'm thinking, oh man, there must be a bear attacking him or something. And then it got all quiet. Well, I got out of the moose by then. No sign of that feller. His chainsaw was laying right there in the snow where he must have dropped it. And I saw his tracks where he hauled ass back out of the woods. Well, by now the blizzard was gone, the sun was out. So I grabbed his chainsaw, cut off the hindquarters of that moose, grabbed my rifle, and headed for home. Now, I had moose for dinner, I had a chainsaw in my hand, and I was none the worse for wear, so I was feeling pretty good. And then, the next day in the newspaper, I read this article about the police put some feller in the mental hospital for running around town telling people that there's a moose up in the woods, telling people not to cut his head off. Well, this is Natureman, and that's all I know. Oh, and if you could do me a favor and not mention to the wife that remark I made about the big hulking creature in the woods, I'd appreciate that. Thank you. Now the boy is going to turn off the video recorder if he can get up off his chair.